Sonic in the 2000s is like playing baseball. A few good hits, maybe a home run, but a whole bunch of strikes and outs. Imagine playing some of the best games of all time and then playing some absolute crap. Regardless, I've had some fond memories with the series during this time. And so, a new decade emerges and a new Sonic game is upon us. This game started development after completing Sonic Unleashed in 2008. Sonic Team took every criticism to heart. Getting rid of the Werehog stages? Check. Going back to having Eggman as the big bad boss instead of a god? Check. Limiting the number of Sonic's friends to just one because the critics thought they were too many and were very annoying? Big check. It seemed like this game was going back to just Sonic roaming through various zones to free critters from Robot Utopia. This game is only exclusive to the Wii with the DS port alongside it. This takes heavy inspiration from the games in the 90s. And I believe this Sonic game is actually good. Sonic Colors was released on November 16th, 2010 in North America. Now I know what you're gonna say. Isn't it a generally favorable game? That means it's always been good, right? Yeah. There's this weird anomaly when over time a game gets more disliked even if it's objectively good. I'm not saying those people aren't valid. If you don't like certain games for any reason, that's fine. That's your opinion. However, social media has made more people want to hate something just for the attention. They make it this competition on seeing its downfall and gloat about it. Sonic fans, shockingly, are notorious for this. Whether it's the adventure games, Unleashed, Frontiers, Shadow Gens, people will hate it because it gets the clicks. These games aren't masterpieces by any means, but I think they are good Sonic games, and that includes Sonic Colors. I don't like to dive into that side of the internet sphere, but I think it's because of the remastered Sonic Colors Ultimate made some people turn on it. It has been beaten to death by fans and critics alike, so I won't bore you by how bad the port is. Trust me, it's for the best. I will be playing the game on the Wii in all its original glory. Let's dive deep into the game that defied Sonic in the 2010s.
Running, I'm gonna reach for the stars, although they look pretty far.
Booting up the game, it greets you with this gorgeous CGI opening. It shows these little creatures having a good old time until Eggman and his robot sidekicks make their presence known. Where the did that coffee mug come from? Sonic then takes down some robots with the help of the aliens. It's up to Sonic to stop this terror and save their world. Sonic openings used to have so much personality, showing the adventure you'll embark on. It's a great way to set the tone. I hope they can make a comeback. Fourth time's the charm. I'm pissed that they're regulated to eye candy trailers. Crazy that the last time CGI was featured in a mainline Sonic game was Sonic Lost World. Yes, that game had an opening. It's alright. Moving on. How it works is you control Sonic across multiple worlds. You can use jump, homing attack, slide, and boost to maneuver the level as fast as possible. Using boost depletes the meter over time, and you get more energy from hitting enemies or collecting capsules filled with the aliens we saw from the opening. It's the same gameplay as Sonic Unleashed with a few additions. Firstly, Sonic can use a double jump instead of a homing boost. The levels themselves have both 3D and 2D layouts. The 3D sections are more linear and straightforward, while 2D has more platforming in different areas you can go to. There are also these red star coins, with each level having 5 of them. When you complete a level, it gives you a rank based on your score for the level. You get a higher score by clearing at a faster time, defeating enemies, collecting rings, and sidestepping, which you can abuse the shit out of. You can hit the score and rank at the results screen to collect more ranks. If you get an A or S rank, you get free 1-ups as a reward. There are other mechanics unique to this game, but we'll get to them later. Our story begins with Sonic and Tails arriving at the entrance to Eggman's new pastime, owning an amusement park. I hope nothing bad is going on here.
He loves to hear his own lips flap, but I gotta hand it to the Eggster. This place is epic.
My first reaction when I played this game for the first time was, why is Sonic's voice different? My first Sonic game was Sonic Adventure 2 Battle, so I'm used to Sonic having a voice. Ryan Drummond was the first VA to voice the Blue Blur in the games, starting with Sonic Adventure, but was replaced by Jason Griffith in Shadow the Hedgehog, and then replaced again with Roger Craig Smith in Colors. The transition from Ryan to Jason did make me question the voice change because I thought Sonic was just getting old and going through puberty with each new entry, not knowing he's already a teenager. Jason to Roger was so jarring that I thought he was becoming an old man. My 11-year-old brain was fucking weird. Even though Jason is my favorite Sonic VA, I will give credit to Roger for having the longevity and coming to his own as the voice of Sonic, especially after Frontiers. But in Colors, I hated it. It didn't match the tone and attitude that I believe Sonic should have. I thought he was perfect in Unleash and Black Knight, so having this voice change disappointed me as a kid. Playing it now after getting used to Roger, I like it. Since Eggman built an amusement park, that means he's scheming an evil plot in the background, but Tails doesn't believe it. Bro, you're really gonna question the man who is known to have evil plans? What do you think he built it for? His future daughter? He also thought it wasn't easy getting into the place, even though it was incredibly easy. Just then, Eggman's lackeys, Orbot and Cubot, are trying to capture some aliens. Sonic rescues them, and one of them absorbs into Sonic and grants him the power to zigzag. This is the new game mechanic the game introduces. There are these different colored aliens that have their own distinct power-ups. Laser lets you bounce off walls and teleport through green diamonds to get to those hard-to-reach places while moving at light speed. Drill has you go underground picking up rings, items, and can traverse underwater. Rocket launches you up in the air to reach higher ground. Spike has you sticking onto walls. Cube transforms these blue cubes into rings and vice versa. Hover has you floating up and use lightspeed dash through a trail of rings. Frenzy has you devour enemies and obstacles blocking your path. There are multiple different ones to use for each act, so you can go through multiple paths just like what the classic games did. It makes good use of exploration and replayability. After clearing all the levels, you get a cutscene leading to a boss fight. For the first one, we get Eggman complaining about not having enough aliens. His plan is to harness their hyper-go-on powers so that nothing will stop him. Except the fact that Sonic has stopped him multiple times while also fighting gods like it's nothing. Try to explain that joke, you red clank. There are 6 bosses with 3 different variations. The first has you in a Ferris wheel and you get on platforms to get closer to hit its eye. To make it easier, pick up the laser wisp to hit it multiple times to beat it faster. The second has you dodging cannonballs or missiles to flip a switch to have the captain come out and beat the shit out of him. The third deals with a giant blimp where you dodge attacks and catch up to it to deal damage. They're relatively easy except for the ship one where the main boss has its lackeys protecting it from homing attacks, so just spam and you'll get the job done. After beating the first boss, we meet up with Tails, who is making a translator to understand what these aliens are saying. Eventually, he gets it working, but not really. There's this running gag that the translator misinterprets what they're saying since it's in binary code. It's funny a few times, but it just becomes annoying after a while. I won't bore you with those jokes and get right into the actual plot points. This alien is named Yacker, and he is from a race called Wisps.
Wisps?
No, wisps with a W.
Yeah, I'll just stick with aliens if that's okay with everybody.
Well, f you, I'm calling them Wisps. He pleads for their help to stop the evil man from stealing their magical powers. Sonic points out that he found a map that has a couple of interesting places. Eggman has chained multiple planets to his park, so it's time to visit them and save the Wisps. We also get a scene of Orbot and Cubot cleaning up the mess from the first boss. They seem to be missing an arm, but it doesn't matter so long as it's disposed. Except when it's stuck into an energy source that may or may not explode near the end of the game. Foreshadowing, everybody. There are 6 worlds with 6 acts each. Tropical Resort, Sweet Mountain, Starlight Carnival, Planet Wisp, Aquarium Park, and Asteroid Coaster. Each world has their own gimmick and setting. Like Aquarium Park has some of its levels underwater, letting you know Sonic f***ing hates water. Starlight Carnival is set in space, so you run on this light path that has robots shooting beams at you. Asteroid Coaster has you riding roller coasters that have their own paths and designs. Some acts can be long or short to beat. Some have mostly 3D or all 2D. Some have good level design or reuse some of the layouts for different challenges. By the second world, you will start to see the same patterns, and it can be pretty annoying. At least the design and setting are unique to each other, unlike a certain game that reuses levels. And the Wisps are a great addition for traversal and going on different paths. Although Sonic Team brought them back for future games, even though they shouldn't have for story reasons we'll get to. There are these gamey-like setting levels you unlock by collecting red rings. They don't offer anything to the story, but if you like the levels in colors, you'll have a good time here. They also work for 2 players, so if you and a friend have a weird itch to play colors together, there's that option. If you unlock and clear all the levels, you'll be able to transform into Super Sonic if you have enough rings. It's interesting they brought it back as an unlockable when it was used as a set piece for Sonic to transform and beat the final boss. They did this for 8 previous Sonic games, so it was a nice change of pace. I know Secret Rings and Black Knight don't have Super Sonic, but they still have their own transformations regardless. Back to the story, Sonic and Tails learn from Yacker that their race is made up of this energy source called hyper-go-ons. It's pretty much their life source and can be very powerful. We've seen what they're capable of thanks to Sonic using them.
Funny thing, it was first translating as horrible body odor.
When you go to conventions and don't use hygiene?
Anyway, it seems an evil man, and you might know him, who they call Baldy Nosehair.
Baldy Nosehair! That's the best thing I've heard all day!
Could be better. I would have called him Fatty McShitface. He's draining their power to create a mind control weapon to control the whole universe. It's the final piece he needs to make his amusement park complete. Whether they help build it or act as visitors, he'll have them under his rule. We see this when he used it on Sonic, but Tails gets control thanks to his save. That means we get a Tail boss fight, right? Of course not. Well, it's not like they'll do this again, am I right? We learn that Eggman finds and captures wisps thanks to his tractor beam generators to hold their planets in orbit. Mind you, we're dealing with 5 planets. We know they have a main home planet, but what about the others? Do they live in them as well? I'm gonna assume yes, since they're all together and Shitface is min-maxing his plan. We then visit their home planet and we see Eggman's influence everywhere. There's a lot of machinery and construction throughout, and even going through them during the levels. Seems like our mustache scientist is hell-bent on using Planet Wisp to expedite his evil deeds. Sonic thinks that conquering a whole alien race is low for Eggman, and is shocked that he was able to kidnap even one planet. Although I can't help but criticize his comments on the matter. 1. In Sonic CD, we see Eggman has chained up Little Planet to Sonic's world, so he has kidnapped a planet before. 2. He has done things far worse. Since Sonic 1, he has captured little aliens and used them for his robot army. In other words, he abuses them to control his machines for world domination. He also blew up half the moon, built Metal Sonic to destroy the Blue Blur, only for it to go rogue, and he tried to summon and control a god that embodies darkness itself by destroying the entirety of planet Earth, and this was the 3rd time he tried to control a god! What's next? He's gonna randomly find another god that has the power to manipulate time itself? You gotta be fucking kidding me. At the start of the 4th boss fight, Eggman makes a pre-recorded announcement that all planets are owned by Eggman Enterprises, to which Sonic responds,
Eggman, I am going to save this planet, and I am going to free these aliens. No copyright law in the universe is going to stop me!
Except when you make a 3-hour-long video talking about one of your favorite video games of all time, writing, filming, recording, voiceover, capturing gameplay, and editing over the course of a year, only for it to get flagged by YouTube's bullshit copyright system for using 2 songs that were a part of their respective scenes, which Atlas has the right to do, but it was only for those 2 and not the rest of the scenes that uses other songs, and that it's fine for other creators to use it, but when I do, it's a problem? Yeah, thanks for telling me that after 20 hours of rendering! Make it make sense!
Sorry for that 4th wall breaking rant. I needed to get that off my chest.
Onto the damn 4th planet, which has those damn water levels I mentioned. Sonic remarks on wanting sushi after running past some fish. The boss shows up, and Sonic, being his snarky self, says someone ordered a clobbering. He continues by saying it ordered an extra large clobbering topped with everything. Finally, he finishes with serving that clobbering for nothing. I don't like how Sonic is portrayed here. He does have one-liners here and there, but he gets down to business after saying it. Like in 06, he calls Eggman's entrance as a snazzy performance before dodging attacks and trashing all his robots. Or in Unleash, he greets Eggman by thanking him for that skydiving adventure the other day in question. But then he gets serious and asks him what he's doing out here, which we already know is to find one of the Temple of Gaias. In Colors, he is such an asshole. He makes so many cocky remarks like it's an all-you-can-eat buffet. If his dialogue was not this egregious, I would have been fine, but he doesn't shut the hell up. Like, just because you're strong doesn't mean you have to be a dick. It makes me want to punk kick you to fucking oblivion.
Sayonara, Sonic the bitch hog.
The reason for this was new writers were brought in for the series moving forward, Ken Pontiac and Warren Graff. Their previous works were on popular shows like Blazing Town and Happy Tree Friends. However, they have no experience with Sonic. They got a basic character synopsis and went with it. Sonic is cool, Tails is smart, Eggman is evil. Maybe it wasn't like that, but you get what I mean. They barely have any depth compared to them in the 2000s. This was their first time working for Sonic, so I can't blame them for writing like this, but they stuck with it throughout all of the 2010s before Ian Flynn took over for Frontiers. You can say all you want about Flynn's writing style, believe me, I do have some gripes, but I much prefer his over whatever Ken and Warren were smoking. When we get to the 5th and final planet, however, the story gets interesting. This one introduces Frenzy, but the thing is, there is no living wisp like this. That's because Eggman has a whole base for the sole purpose of converting the wisps into Frenzy. He's awakening their negative energy to use it for his mind-controlling weapon. I know that Sonic caters more towards kids, but if this was their first game, I would bet they would be mortified at the sight of this. Even Sonic is more serious and determined to free them. I do wish he was like this at the beginning, but it's more justifiable to now drop the cocky axe, seeing how much is at stake. Going up against the boss, he doesn't have a quippy one-liner. He straight up Rooftop says he's gonna mess it up because of the trapped wisps. Oh, this is getting really good, and now he's back to talking. You had me. You had me, Sonic. You had me on your side, and you dropped the fucking ball. Anyway, he beats it, and the tractor beams are no more. That means the surrounding planets and the wisps are free at last. Tails say they did it, but Sonic makes a passive-aggressive comment about not remembering Tails doing anything. He comes back saying Sonic did a great job with building a translator to understand the wisps and figure out what they needed to do instead of running around like idiots. Oh no, wait. That was him. I like this interaction so much. He gave Sonic a taste of his own medicine, and he agrees with his point. Hope we get more dialogue like this in the future. But now it's time to celebrate, except uh-oh, Eggman has enough energy for his mind control weapon. It never ends that easily. As soon as he activates it, it explodes and it creates this pseudo black hole because the robot arm from the first boss got stuck into the device. Maybe do a double check on the machine first before turning it on. But no matter, even with his plan being reduced to ashes, Eggman is dead set on crushing Sonic the Hedgehog once and for all. This causes the wisps to fly away while Sonic and Tails make their way to the terminal, which is the 7th and final world for this game. Which, yeah, when it made sense to collect an emerald from each planet, it was a missed opportunity. As they make their way to one of the cars, Eggman appears with his latest creation. I'd rather not say it out loud. He makes a big old speech making theme park puns, and Sonic is like, dude, just get to the point.
Yeah, you tell him!
His new machine is built on Nega-Wisp energy, so it's more deadly than a single frenzy. Sonic, being the caring friend, pushes Tails into the car so that he'll be safe while he fights it by himself. It's time for a Sonic vs. Eggman showdown, just like they've always done. Each attack has a different wisp power similar to what Sonic used. He summons cubes and you must dodge them at the right time. Spikes and laser in which you need to jump over. That's it. No rocket, drill, or hover. You could have done rocket and drill attacks and have hover when you're in the air and must dodge obstacles. Frenzy is what the robot is, so there wasn't anything they could do. Maybe have it go crazy while traveling towards you and you humming an attack to stop it. This is surprisingly easier than I remembered. It does its pattern of doing the attack and get up close afterwards to let you attack the robot multiple times, and then you can hit Eggman himself. While it lacks challenge, it makes up for in spectacle. After attacking for the 3rd time, 2 wisps pop up to be alongside Sonic, with each hit having 2 more follow suit. I also love how desperate Eggman is here as he's sucking up the wisps to have more power for his machine. Once you get all the wisps, you must shake the Wii Remote to have each one attack Eggman to then have Sonic land one more homing attack with the wisp's power to finish the fight. But it's not over yet. It is for Eggman. He can go f*** himself. The black hole is still growing, and Sonic needs to get out of there as to not get sucked in. Let me give you a little science lesson. The name Sonic was chosen because of his high-speed abilities, which can happen in real life. When someone goes so fast that it breaks a sound barrier, it's called a sonic boom. How it works is when an aircraft travels through the air, it creates pressure waves in front and behind the plane. When it reaches the speed of sound, the waves are forced together and merge into a shock wave. From what I know, there is no accurate number on how fast Sonic can go, but it is known that he can reach the speed of sound. Now, why am I bringing this up? Well, black holes are a region in space that are formed from collapsing stars at the end of their life cycle. After a black hole is formed, it has a very strong gravitational pull, absorbing surrounding stars, planets, and merging with other black holes. It's so strong, not even light can escape it. In fact, nothing can escape it. To compare, Sonic can reach the speed of sound, which is 767 miles per hour. The speed of light is 671 million miles per hour. You could argue that this black hole is man-made and therefore is much weaker than a real one. However, it was made because of the Wisp's life energy. They let Sonic boost much faster than the speed of sound, and one of them has you travel at light speeds. They are as powerful as stars. Even if he had the Chaos Emeralds and went super, he wouldn't make it. The speed of light is the universe's ultimate speed limit. Nothing with mass can reach or exceed it. That means the fastest thing alive cannot outrun a black hole. In situations like this, he can't do everything by himself. He needs help. The Wisps may be aliens, but they are just as human as us. They are their own life form with character and emotions. They have the power to create something negative, but in turn, can create something positive. They brought Sonic back to his home planet, rescued their kind from the negative energy, and destroyed the black hole with their own power. I cannot believe that a game like Colors, with all its silly gags and butchered characterizations, has an emotional ending that when you give kindness, you will get kindness in return. Sonic has saved them and their world from captivity, and now it's their turn to save him and his world. They could have easily used the Chaos Emeralds, but I think it would have made the story worse. This game brought back the classic roots with its central gameplay, but it also brought back its storytelling. The very first Sonic game was about an evil scientist wanting to use animals as pawns for his machines to have him be the ruler of his own empire. It wasn't until one speedy blue hedgehog who wanted to stop his mechanical terror and save the critters from captivity, not by using magical jewels, but by his own power. That story is being retold in a 3D Sonic game almost 20 years later. Sonic Colors was simple with its setup and quippy dialogue, but it left me with this impactful theme of reaching out to others who need help, even if they are as powerful as a star. With that, Yacker visits the duo to thank them for saving his race. Sonic thanks them in return for saving him and Tails. The translator is no longer having problems thanks to Tails tinkering it to get all the kinks out. Sadly, Yacker must return to his home and say farewell to his new friends. The perfect translator may not have lasted long, but at least it did its job to have the Wisps be able to speak with their own hearts.
Right on.
When I was initially thinking about replaying this game, I thought I was going to not like it as much. It's been over a decade since I last played it when I was in middle school. I thought I was going to be annoyed at going through the annoying dialogue and basic story plot. Like, to be honest, Sonic Heroes was similar, but it had great set pieces that made me like it so much. Now that I have a better understanding of the story Colors was trying to tell, I have a greater appreciation for it. More so because after this game, the franchise was in a rough spot. Sonic Gens didn't make a good mark during this time, but afterwards, Sonic as a series fell flat. With having Lost World, a game that didn't have anything going for it, Sonic Boom, a reboot that fell on its ass and tumbled down to its own demise, and Sonic Forces had a serious story with no payoff. I know they had potential, but I can also accept them for what they are. A bunch of bland stories that didn't have any emotional impact and completely deviate from what makes Sonic cool. A guy that loves adventure who fights for what he thinks is right. Sonic Colors understood the assignment, and I wish the games I mentioned had followed in its footsteps. If you want the whole cast to be here and have that Supersonic final boss fight, there's the DS version. I wish they did a remake to have both Wii and DS elements combined to have the ultimate Sonic Colors experience. But instead, we got this pile of ass cheeks. Despite it all, I love Sonic Colors. This game goes to show that a basic plot from the past can be retold and still have a strong impact in people's hearts. It recontextualizes the themes and philosophies of this franchise in its own quirky way. Reach out to those who need it, and don't be afraid to say what your heart feels. And my heart is saying, Sonic Colors is a good Sonic game. It always has been.
Speak with your heart, yeah.
Are you gonna get down from there? Okay, well, I have a few ideas that I want to run by you just to see if you're cool with them. Let's see here. We're bringing back the 16-bit elements with the 2D level design and the different pathways. I was thinking maybe we could bring back classic Sonic to represent the 90s era for the franchise. Almost like having this celebratory video game, because, the 20th anniversary is coming up. Have Classic team up with Modern to take down whatever bad guy we can think of. Maybe Eggman, we'll see. But it would be pretty cool just to have all those levels to sort of celebrate the franchise as a whole. Maybe we could bring back Shadow into the mix, have his gameplay unique to Sonic, because, he's a fan favorite character, and Shadow the Hedgehog was whatever. So having him be brought back like this would give new life to him. Maybe he has DLC for that Celebration game I mentioned, or a new game entirely. We'll discuss that further, but just want to see if that's all right with you? That cool? I'll take your silence as a yes. I'll run it by the team, and we'll get the ball rolling. Oh, and about that Eggman daughter idea.